This is the solutions to exercise 13.1, what you had to do for last night's homework. So the first one is question 1, and in question 1 I am given this line plot, and part A asks who has been absent the most number of days. So we can see here it's Tom, so that's my first answer. Part B says who has been absent the least number of days. Okay, so John has only missed 3 days, so B is John. Then it says how many days in total have the 4 friends between them missed. Okay, so Anne has missed 1, 2, 3, 4. Tom has missed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 4 plus 5. Alice is 1, 2, 3, 4 plus 4, and John is 1, 2, 3. And when I add them all up, I get 16 days. Then I have part D, express the number of days Anne has missed as a percentage of this total. So we need to get it as a fraction, and then to put it into percentage we multiply by 100. So Anne has missed 4 days out of my total. So it's always what I'm looking for, out of my total, multiplied by 100, and I get 25%. Question 2 then I have, so the table below shows the grades John got in his test. So what I need to do, first of all, so whatever's on top of my table, I need to put that down straight along the bottom. So I have A, B, C, D. Frequency always goes up along the side. Now what I have, okay, so test A, there's 2, so I put 2 X's. Test B, there's 2, so I put 2 X's. Test C, there's 5, so I put 5 C's, 5 X's. And then D, I put 1. So that's question 2. And then I was on to question 3. So for question 3, I needed to, so it says the table below shows the number of cars sold by a dealer over a 4-month period. So like the last one, whatever's on top of my table needs to come down to the bottom. So I have January, February, March, April. Okay, so January needs to have 7 X's because we have 7, and then February needs to have 2 X's, March needs to have 3, and April needs to have 1. And that's question 3 completed. Question 4, then you were given all this data here, and you were told the first year group were asked how many different sports they played. The results shown in the table below. So part A asked how many students were surveyed. So I counted all the students up, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and so on, and I got 30 students. Then I was asked to do a tally and a frequency. So we've plenty practiced in our tally and our frequency. So for 2, I go 1, another 2, 2, 2, 1, and so on. Okay, so I had 3 zeros, 6 ones, 9 twos, 7 threes, 3 fours, and 2 fives. And then the next part of this asks me to display it on a frequency table. So I need to put whatever is on the top, okay, of my table, which you'll see on page 202, needs to go straight down to the bottom here. My frequency is always up along here. So the number of sports I've goes from 0 to 5, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there was 3 that had 0, so I put 3 X's. Then I had 6 that had 1 sport, so I put 6 X's. I had 9 that had 2 sports, so I put 9 X's. I had 7 that had 3 sports, so I put 7 X's. And I had 3 that had 4 X's, so I put them there. And then I had 2 that had 5 sports, so I put 2 X's at 5. Part D then asks me what percentage of the students surveyed played no sport. So I can see here, right, I need to get my fraction and then multiply by 100. So they played no sports. I have 1, 2, 3 people, and it's always out of my total. So it's 3 over my total, which is 30 times 100, and I get 10%. Then here I have is question 5. So question 5, it says John's grandfather gave him 12 old pennies to add to his coin collection. The dates on the pennies are listed in the table. So it's 1928 is the lowest one, and 1937 is the highest one. So I had to use my draw a line plot for that. So I did 1928 because that was my lowest value, all the way up to 1937 because that was my highest value. And then I went and did my frequency. So it was kind of like a tally table, except anytime I came across a number, I put an X on it. Part B says how many pennies were minted in 1928. We can see from my line plot there is only 1. And then part C, it says Part C says What percentage of the pennies were minted in 1931? Give your answer correct to one decimal place. So what I need to do is I need to see, okay, so how many were minted in 1931? We have 5 pennies we can see from our line plot, and it's always over the total. So my total number of pennies in this question was 12, so it's 5 over 12. To get percentage, we always multiply by 100, and I get 41.6666. But the question asks me to go to one decimal place, okay, so I go here. The number to the right of it is greater than 5, so that means I need to round this up. So I get 41.7%. Now I'm on to part D of this question. So it says, John valued the coins. The table shows the value of coins based on the year in which the coins were minted. So it tells me in 1928 it was worth €20, 1931 coin is worth 30, 1933 coin is worth 70, 1935 coin is worth 25, and 1937 coin is worth €30. So then I just need to work out how many coins do I have. So in 1928 we had 1 coin, so that's 20 by 1, and that's €20. In 1931 I had 5 coins, so 5 by 30, that's 150. In 1933 I had 4 coins, so that's 4 by 70, which is 280. In 1935 I had 1 coin, so it's 1 by 25, and that's €25. In 1937 I had 1 coin again, and that's 1 by 30. So I had €30, and then my final step is I need to add up all the money together. So I have 20 plus 150 plus 280 plus 25 plus 30, and I get €505. Okay, so now I'm going to look at bar charts. So this is in your book, and it's page 202. So basically, girls, you should have seen bar charts before. So a bar chart is similar to a line plot, okay, except this time it's going to be bars. So you'll see now on page 203 what I mean. So like line plots, bar charts are suitable for displaying categorical or discrete numerical data. If the amount of data is large, then bar charts are preferable to line plots, because we would be going on with our x's for ages if we stayed using the line plot. So here's the first question. So it says, the following table gives different modes of transport that a first year student uses to travel to school. Okay, I'm asked to draw a bar chart to illustrate this data. How many students are in the class? What fraction of the students travel to school by bus? Okay, the first thing we need to get right is how to draw a bar chart. Okay, so we'll always have tables like this, and we'll be using them. So similar to my line plots, whatever is on the top, so mode is on the top here, so that needs to go down on the bottom in the next one. So from that question, I'm just going to start it here. So I have my mode is going to be on the bottom, and my number is going to be along the side. So it's really important to get out my ruler to draw my bar charts. So I get my ruler here, and I draw a straight line down and over. So I'm going to put my mode on the bottom, because that was at the top of my table, and then I'm going to put my frequency or number along the side. Right, I need to make sure that I do equal bars across. Okay, so I'm going to go 2. I'm going to go across 2 centimeters. I'm going to leave a gap of 1 centimeter and go again. A gap of 1 centimeter and go again. A gap of 1 centimeter and go again, and so on. Okay. Alright, so the first one, what I'll have is I'll have my car. Then I will have my walk here. Here I will have my bike. Next I will have my bus. And I need to go one more. So I'm going to leave a gap of 1 centimeter and go again for 2 centimeters across. And here I have a train. Okay, so that's it there. What it says on my steps here, so it says steps in drawing the chart. what I need to do is I need to decide on the title for the chart. Okay, so we're going to come up with that here. So in this question they said mode of transport. Okay, so you need to always have a title. You need to label your axes here as well. Okay, so we draw the vertical and horizontal axes. We already have that completed. We label the horizontal axis mode. Okay, so this axis mode and this axis number. So we write the different modes of transport underneath where the bars will be, and we label the vertical axis number. So we've gone as far as step 5. And now we need to decide the scale for which the vertical axis, the scale should start at 0. Okay, so we have, this is our question that we're completing. So we have 6, 3, 5, 8 and 2. So we are able to go up from 0. Okay, so sometimes if you have a bar chart which is higher than that, we'd need to maybe go up in 2s or 4s. So then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start it again here. Okay, so I know here now my highest value is going to be 8. You have squares in your copies, girls, so you can mark off each square. I'm just going to mark off each line here. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And label them here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And don't forget, we need to make sure we label our bar chart to get full marks. So mode of transport. And now I look here. Okay, so car, it tells me that 6 people went by car, so I'm going to draw a cross at 6. And that's my car. Now I look at walk. Okay, so it tells me 3 people are after walking. And it's after telling me that 5 people are after getting a bike, so I'll go to bike. Eight people got the bus, so I'm going to draw up at 8 here, got the bus. And then finally only 2 people got the train. Okay, it's really important gap between each one. So I went over, you can go over in your copy 2 squares, leave 1 square, 2 squares, leave a square, 2 squares, leave a square. Okay, so that's what we'll do. There always has to be a gap in a bar chart. Right, the next thing it asks me is how many students are in the class. Okay, I need to add up my frequency here to see how many students are in the class. So what I'll do is I'll go to car. Okay, so we've 6 people that went by a car. So 6 people went by car, plus I need to add 3 people walked, 5 people went by a bike, 8 people went by bus, plus 2 people went by a train. And then we add them all together and we get 24 students. In part C it says what fraction of the students travel to the school by bus. Okay, so now we need to find, okay, so what we're looking for is the students that travelled by bus. So we look at bus, and here we can see that 8 people travelled to 8 out of my total. So my total here we just worked out is 24. And we are asked for it as a fraction, okay? And if you put that into your calculator, girls, you'd also get that to be 1/3. You can leave it as either or, because it didn't ask you to simplify it in this question, but usually we would simplify it. The next question then, example is page 203. So you're given this example here. So it says the bar chart shown displays the monthly rainfall in an area over a 6-month period. what was the wettest month. So I look along here, okay, so this is my bar chart here. So it has, its title is rainfall, and it's labelled its axes month and rainfall in centimetres. Okay, so I'm looking for which was the wettest month. So I look along here and I can see that the most amount of rain fell in April. So April is my wettest month. Then it says which was the driest month. Okay, so the driest month would be the one with the least amount of rain. And we can see from my bar chart, it's going to actually be July. And then what was the total rainfall for the 6 month period? I would then need to add up all my frequency together. So I'd have in April, there's 9 centimetres. In May, so it's going to be 9 plus. In May, I have 6. In June, I have 5. In July, I have 3. In April, I have 4. And in September, I have 6. So I need to add them all together. Finally, it says what fraction of the rain for the period fell during May. Okay, so fell during May, so I need to look at, I want to find out, I'm looking at May. So May is 6, and we always put it over my total. Okay, so 6 out of the total amount of rainfall, which we just found out was 33. So it's 6 over 33, and that gives me 2 over 11.